Can the stock Xiaomi camera beat Gcam on the 11T Pro? It's a close contest, and at the end, I'll tell you specifically why I think that is. The first tree shot is really a toss-up. Technically, the stock Xiaomi camera does blow out the highlights a bit, as you can see from the waveform, and the shadows are darker, but both apps still do a great job. Gcam wins the shot of the bushes. It's just more detailed, contrasty, and feels more alive. Are these mini tomatoes? Not cherry tomatoes, maybe mini cherry tomatoes. The stairwell shot looks slightly better on the stock camera, mainly on the railing, where Gcam really blows out the highlights. I think there might be a bit of a lens flare with the stock shot, since the stock camera looks more muted and lacks contrast, while Gcam looks about right. I actually prefer the look from the stock camera here, but Gcam technically wins. And I ruined this shot by blocking the sun with a branch on the stock camera, but not on Gcam. I left it in because Gcam's lens flare looked pretty good. Gcam is certainly warmer, and that shows on this tiled wall shot. That's not quite the true color, but it still looks better than the stock camera. I couldn't wait to see how both would handle this construction orange color on the cone here, and Gcam loses, since it makes the whole cone one radiating orange mass. While the stock camera still captures how the sunlight actually looked on the cone somewhat accurately, Gcam is much more saturated for this fin shot, but both look decent. Look at these great drain covers. I love that Gcam draws more out of the shadows in these holes, and I think I heard voices coming from the drain. Are there mini sewer zombies? This heavy-duty ground-mounted quad chrome super soaker looks nice on both apps, but I think the stock camera wins. Gcam is more saturated, but it lacks any depth of field. Everything's in focus. Gcam struggled with the glass in this window, and it came out quite blurry. Plus, it was unnaturally saturated once again. I think both do a great job with the light fixture here, but Gcam is more saturated, and I think it works well for the shot. I don't like how Gcam handles this out of focus portion at the top of the image, but it certainly is more vibrant than the stock camera. Here's that same shot, but using portrait mode. Before we get to the selfies and night mode shots, if you're finding this video helpful, please give it a like, and thank you for that. Now we get to some serious trouble for Gcam. Here's the front camera, and Gcam looks detailed and oversaturated, which means I look terrible. Gcam's also unnaturally contrasty, and I didn't adjust any settings in terms of beautify options or smoothing on either camera app. Here's the front camera again, but with portrait mode on, and the stock camera managed to separate me from the background better, without this weird aura that Gcam adds. For the selfie cam, the same issue persists. Selfie camera with portrait mode, Gcam still has that aura around me. I think most people would prefer the stock camera for human subjects, since it's more flattering. Please let me know in the comments if you agree. When there's not much light to work with, night mode is terrible for both apps. And this is an extremely dark room, so here's the result, which is so bad that I've edited the next few shots, applying the same adjustments to each picture so you can actually see what's going on. These are from the main camera, and Gcam holds up much better with the image adjustments, but both are still unusable. Using the selfie camera, again Gcam looks better here, but both are awful. Stock camera improves slightly with this white figure, but it doesn't hold up as well as Gcam with the adjustments once again. Of course, giving both camera apps more light helps tremendously, and none of the following shots were edited at all. Stock camera's too bright here, and it's just not realistic. Both do okay with this light post, but I prefer Gcam since it's a bit brighter. Stock camera wins the car shot since it's both brighter and more detailed than Gcam. The fire hydrant came out better using the stock camera as well. Again, brighter and more detailed. For video shooting, stock is the way to go, at least if you want super stable video. Here's that same shot with active stabilization on in Gcam. It just doesn't work at all. Here's the selfie video, and the stock camera is brighter and more color accurate. So I tried 5 different Gcam ports for the Xiaomi 11T and 11T Pro, and this was by far the best, without making any adjustments in the settings. This is a Gcam port from developer BSG with an XML called Great Shot. Links to both are in the description. Remember, I used both apps without adjusting any key setting, which means the stock Xiaomi camera was set to HDR Auto, and this Gcam was set to HDR Plus Enhanced, which is why you might have noticed the often improved dynamic range from Gcam. When you turn off HDR Plus Enhanced, Gcam loses to the stock camera most of the time. One important note is that it does take longer for the 11T Pro to process Gcam shots when this mode is enabled. So is it worth using Gcam on the 11T Pro? Yes, this port is good enough that you can probably get results that are as good or better than the stock Xiaomi camera in many situations, just not video. Plus, remember that the Xiaomi app has access to features like 8K video recording that doesn't crash, HDR video, full 108 megapixel image capture, slow motion video at 960 frames per second, and more. If you think the Xiaomi 11T Pro is the right phone for you, you should check out Wireless Place, since they have Xiaomi devices as well as phones from Samsung, Motorola, OnePlus, and more. I've bought a few phones from Wireless Place, and they always ship fast. They have great prices and include a US adapter for the charger if you need it. A link to their site is in the description. Please subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and feel free to comment with any other Gcam ports you'd like me to test with, or any questions you might have, and I will answer them perfectly, every time.